Highlighting future opportunities, IndiGo said free trade agreements could significantly expand international air cargo demand.
Domestic e-commerce, perishables, I guess the living standards in India are growing. People have an increasing demand for just on time, obviously goods, but also different types of perishables from around the country. There's of course the whole growing need for pharmaceutical products, of which India is a massive manufacturer. On the international side, I think there's a really exciting story, and a lot of that is driven by the fact that India has signed free trade agreements. I mean, the EU is a big one, UK as well. As you sign free trade agreements, and from what I can see from these agreements, they take a few years to be ratified, is that a lot of the tariffs that you're talking about are towards products that will be sort of air cargo friendly. What do I mean by that? 15 years ago, most of Indian manufacturing was heavy manufacturing. There was, of course, a lot of exports. India is now going very much up the sort of value chain of manufacturing. So, for example, today, there's a net export of phones from India, right? Mobile phones, various different brands, some that have always manufactured predominantly in Southeast Asia, China and Vietnam, are now moving production to India for obviously the domestic market, but also the international market. So I think if you split domestic and international, you've got different opportunities, but there's certainly loads of growth. And in domestic, it's certainly pharma is a big growth industry. Finished electronic products is a big growth industry, mainly things like mobile phones. Perishables has always been a big industry, but it's changing, and other sort of domestic markets that were always key markets are now, we're now seeing growth in other markets. I'll just give you an example. Within India, about 80% of our domestic cargo is really concentrated on the major 6 hubs, right? And we know what they are, the major 6 sort of metros that India talks about. But that's changing a lot, and you've got secondary cities, tier 2, tier 3, but also, you look at Pune, you look at Jaipur, you look at Ahmedabad. These are now becoming much bigger growth opportunities for domestic air freight. And on the international side, it's mainly concentrated obviously around the big international airports where a lot of the capacity for cargo or air freight is based, not only obviously from IndiGo, but from many of the international carriers. When it comes to this question about growth, it's something that we're very lucky as an Indian-based carrier in a market that's so vibrant and growing so fast to be in this position where we've got a great fleet of aircraft coming, and we've got an aviation ministry and a government that believe that a strong aviation policy is going to be critical for the growth of the country. So I kind of feel we're well timed, along with a aligned industry that wants to grow.